Police officers in the city of Tempe, Arizona have been engaging in lawless and unconstitutional behavior in an attempt to prohibit free speech. Recently, they gave a criminal citation to a man who was exercising his First Amendment right, and then they turned right around and stole his property. This video was sent to me by Mark in Southeast Australia. In this footage, Jeff Durbin, a pastor from Apologia Church in Tempe, Arizona, is confronted by a guy wearing a costume, a badge, and a gun, and who has no regard even for his own laws, which he swore to enforce. Durbin, by the way, was standing on a public sidewalk with other protesters outside of an abortion clinic. What's interesting to me about a lot of cops out there is that they have no problem hypocritically stealing your money by way of tickets, fines, and citations if you break the laws of their political puppet masters, but then they turn around and break those same laws themselves. Here's how it unfolded. Durbin is using a wireless mic and an amplifier as he protests outside the clinic. The cop walks up to Durbin and asks for his ID. Here's the exchange.
Can I talk to you for a moment?
Sure. Yeah.
Do you have your ID?
Why do you need my ID?
I need to talk to you about a complaint from the neighborhood.
What's the complaint about?
First of all, let's think about this. These are two human beings interacting with one another. The guy with the costume and badge doesn't have any more legitimate authority than the guy with the beard. With that in mind, isn't it a little bit odd for one human being to walk up to another human being and ask for ID? Secondly, why would you need an ID to talk to somebody about a complaint another person has, and where is that offended party? Third, it's important to realize that handing over your ID to a cop generates a police record with your name on it, and this is never a good thing.
Complaint is about sound amplification.
Well, that's a legal activity.
Sound amplification is legal activity?
Yeah, I mean, I can show you.
Well, I understand you can legally amplify.
Yeah.
I'm talking about disturbing somebody's peace.
Yeah, that's
what
been
I deal with.
Yeah, that's been ruled on.
No, don't give me the law. Just if I could get your name, would be great.
This is classic. A law enforcer says, "Don't give me the law, just give me your name."
Okay, well, I'm just asking why you need my name.
I told you why.
So are you arresting me or charging me with a crime?
Not at this point. I'd like
No.
to
So then the state law of Arizona says that you can't ask for my ID unless I'm being charged with a crime.
Now, this is true in most states. If you want to take that route and go by some bogus law imagined into existence by some political parasite, then in Heibel versus 6th Judicial District Court of Nevada, the Supreme Court upheld state laws requiring citizens to reveal their identity only when officers have reasonable, articulable suspicion to believe criminal activity has been or is being committed. Commonly known as stop and identify statutes, these laws permit police to arrest only criminal suspects who refuse to identify themselves. As of 2013, 24 states had stop and identify laws. But regardless of your state's law, keep in mind that police can never compel you to identify yourself without reasonable suspicion to believe you're involved in criminal activity. Again, this is if you want to take the bogus law route. The route you really want to take is the moral route, which has absolutely nothing to do with the legal or legislative route. Ask the guy with the badge, am I harming someone, threatening to harm someone, or taking their stuff? Am I doing something immoral? Obviously, the answer is no. Your goal here is to bring that cop's mind away from his authoritarian statist mindset and acquaint him with his humanity. This is about morality, not legality. Ask him if what you're doing isn't immoral or hurtful to others. On what moral ground does he think it's legitimate to confront you and ask for your personal information?
Well, I am in the process of investigating a crime.
Okay, what? You just ignored
When you get arrested, I have to be able to do an investigation.
Sure, but the law
I don't just grab people and arrest them.
No, I appreciate that, officer, but you're a law enforcement official, and I'm showing you the law. The law says that in order for you to say I'm disturbing the peace, it has to be more than a vague generality of your own opinion. You have to have a calibrated meter that demonstrates I'm over 65 decibels. Do you have a calibrated meter?
Do I have to have a calibrated meter?
You do. It's the city code. That's what it says.
Okay, so Do you want to tell me who you are, or you don't want to?
Basically, he's saying, I don't care about the law I'm sworn to uphold. I just want to data mine you, get your ID, and make a record for the state. Remember, government claims a monopoly on force. Its lifeblood is taxation, which is theft and extortion. They steal your money to fund their departments and war projects. They send out their enforcers to harm peaceful people who want to be left alone.
No, officer, I respect your position. I'm a pastor. I respect law enforcement. And since you're law enforcement, the law says that you can't ask for my ID unless you are charging me with a crime.
I can ask you a million questions. You just need to tell me whether or not you want to do it or answer them.
No, and just so you know, I respect your position immensely. I believe your position is ordained by God in terms of government.
Now, while Durbin is keeping cool, calm, and collected, there's absolutely nothing respectable about a street thug in a uniform hammering people with unjust laws. There's nothing respectable about road piracy where they steal more of your hard-earned money because you transgressed an arbitrary man-made law. There's absolutely nothing respectable about throwing peaceful people into cages and strengthening the arm of the prison industrial complex. And there's certainly nothing respectable about killing people in hallways of hotels or in homes or in vehicles just because they don't perfectly follow your commands. Here's the problem with all cops. They swear to obey every law, even the unjust ones, even the immoral ones. And logic, truth, and love dictate that enforcing immorality makes the enforcer immoral. This isn't my opinion. Cops have a monopoly on force. It's absolute power. And as we should have already learned by now, such absolute power corrupts absolutely. Besides, respect is earned, not given. So no, agents of immorality are not to be respected.
But I also believe that you and I both respect the law. And our Constitution says that I have a right to remain silent and not self-incriminate. And our state law says that in order for you to actually get my ID, I have to be cited with a crime. Don't!
So you're telling me you don't want to identify yourself?
Well, I'm happy to say my name. It's Pastor Jeff. I'm with Apologia Church.
Okay. Jeff.
It's Pastor Jeff.
Just Pastor.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd be happy to show you this. This is the Supreme Court ruling, Federal Court of Appeals ruling, the City of Tempe's rules when it comes to noise ordinance.
Yeah, I understand. I've read all. Well, actually, I haven't read the Supreme Court's rule.
Okay.
Take that back.
Okay.
I understand the city code.
Okay.
What I'm dealing with is a complaint from a neighborhood.
I understand, and I understand where that's coming from. The problem is, and I know you're a law enforcement officer, you took an oath to the Constitution, we have freedom of speech rights, and somebody saying you're disturbing my peace because I don't like your message or I can hear it isn't a valid reason to undo the Constitution of the United States that says I have freedom of speech. The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled on this.
So here's a question. What if the Supreme Court hadn't ruled on this? What if one day the Supreme Court rules against the Constitution? Will we be holding up Supreme Court rulings then? What if the Constitution itself runs contrary to morality? Do we still stand with the Constitution and forsake the moral code? Remember, it's the Constitution that declares that the politicians, you know, the most corrupt, slimy human beings who have ever roamed the earth, have power to, quote, lay and collect taxes. In other words, corrupt agents of the state have power to help themselves to other people's stuff. This is why the moral standard of doing no harm to others is the rock to which we all must cling.
Somebody can't say I'm disrupting the peace because they don't like my message, because I'm amplifying my voice. The law, which you and I both are committed to, states that I'm in a lawful activity right now. Go!
Well, like I said, I'm not
And I appreciate
you.
No, I know, and I appreciate your position. I have no disrespect for you, but when it comes to law and law enforcement, when someone calls with just a complaint, I think it's incumbent upon us to at least educate those people that what's happening here is a lawful activity. Don't! It's not unlawful.
At this point, the supervisor arrives on the scene.
I'm Sergeant Liz Lenzen, Tempe PD.
Hello.
Hey, who's been using the megaphone?
I have.
Yeah, and what's your name?
Jeff.
Jeff who?
Yeah, Jeff. It's Pastor Jeff.
Pastor Jeff.
Yes.
I'm so supposed to know. Where are you pastor at?
Apologia Church in Tempe.
Okay, and what's your last name, Jeff?
Do you need that for anything?
Yes, we do, because we have a complaint that we're working. That's why we're here.
Okay. Well,
otherwise, we would not be here.
no, I respect your position. I was just telling this officer over here, in order for me to identify myself, I have to be cited with a crime according to Arizona state law.
Well, we're going to give you a warning right now, so we're going to need that for our street check. So what's your last name?
Okay, so the warning is a violation of the law?
Well, because of the amplified sound device.
Well, what I was saying to the officer
Where's
was...
Zach?
He's right over here.
Zach. Where's the other Zach? Zach number
Morgan,
one.
he's out of state right now.
Okay, I'm used to, they know me. And Steven knows me. So you're going to be given a warning you cannot use. And
Well, officer, you can't do that. Officer, you can't do that unless you have a calibrated meter according to city code.
Oh, we can.
And you test it.
Yeah, we can.
This is hilarious. Oh, don't worry, we can violate our own laws. Don't worry about that.
And so
You
you're
can
gonna
violate this law?
We have a complainant that's a citizen.
A complaint of illegal activity.
We have complaint
Of illegal activity.
of disorderly conduct.
Ma'am, if you read the city code, you'll see
We're
you
not
can't...
arguing. You've been given a warning. You can't use your amplified sound device. If you will, you go to jail. You've already been given that warning.
Ma'am, you're not even looking at you're a supervisor, you won't look at the law?
No, I know the law.
We'll file a suit against you.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Lenzen.
Gotcha.
L-E-N-Z-E-N.
Okay, let's get that on the camera.
Get on
Officer
the cam.
Lenzen.
We got our cams going.
Officer Lenzen, would you like it to look at the law?
We'll do this. Lenzen.
Is this professional activity on your part
It
to
is.
act, behave in this manner?
You've got a warning, so please don't do it. We don't
What's
really
the warning
want to
for?
arrest you.
This is my question. What's the
And
warning
you've been
for?
warned already.
Officer,
Okay.
what's the warning for?
Amplified sound device.
That's legal activity.
You can't use it.
You won't look at this?
Don't use it. Don't.
It's a legal activity.
We have a complaint.
Ma'am, we'll sue you for violating our constitutional
you can
rights.
Sue us. You can. It's your right.
It is my right, and I want to do this for the record of the court. She will not look at the city code.
Warning. Thank you.
You
guys.
won't look at the city code?
No, I already know it.
Yeah, ma'am, I reject your warning.
Okay.
I reject it.
We're gonna document.
And we're going to continue to use sound amplification because it's our constitutional right.
Could there be a more pompous ass? Maybe the Tempe Police Department would like a couple phone calls from a concerned public about Sergeant Lenzen's unprofessional and childish behavior here. Maybe headquarters would like to hear that one of their very finest could care less about the law she swore to uphold. Oh look, here's that number, and here's their address. What was that name again, officer?
Okay.
Lenzen.
Gotcha. Okay, let's get that on the...
One more time?
Okay.
Lenzen.
Gotcha. Okay, let's get that on the...
Hey, thanks. We'll give you guys a call. I'll leave all the information in the description below. And if you'd like to see the rest of Durbin's video, that link is also in the description. Stop by Durbin's channel and take a look at that video and let him know that High Impact Flicks sent you. Make this video viral, fire up those cameras, and record power-tripping police officers. If you have any thoughts about this, leave them for the world and the Google Thought Police in the comments section below. And I'll see you guys in the next video.